Hey, welcome to Vikings Postgame Report. Hey, we're not the worst team in the league this year. With our win today over the Texans, a lot to talk about. Great offensive kind of showing. I am pretty pumped with the offense that we have, and I'll talk about that. Before I get into that, so I'm looking for 16 players to join a game that I want to do online based on Jeopardy, where I'll ask a series of questions that fall into certain categories, and then different levels in that categories get you 100 points, 200 points, 300 points, and so on. And at the end, there'll be a prize, and we'll determine what that is once we have the amount of players. And the idea is we'll have round one, so 16 players, round one, and then 8 players will move on to the quarterfinals, and then the semifinals, and then the finals, and to determine who really knows their Viking football. So the questions will be about the Vikings in the 60s and 70s, the 80s and 90s, 2000s, and then playoffs and Super Bowl, because we have been in 4 Super Bowls. So yeah, if you want to join, just send me a comment in the comment section. I'll send you a Skype link, and then you can join the game. Now, before we move on, subscribe. I want to keep you up to speed on what's happening here at Bleed Deep Purple Podcast. And let's see what's on the menu this afternoon. So, great game. I want to talk about Kirk Cousins. I want to talk about Harrison Smith. I want to talk about Dalvin Cooks and his stiff arm to get his second touchdown. I want to talk about our kicking game I don't know what to say. I want to talk about Irv Smith and how he's just not getting involved in the passing game. And we could be losing out there unless they have plans on bringing him along, in more throws, more targets coming up. And then I want to talk about why wasn't Cook in that last series before the Texans got the ball. They had Madison in there. Not to, Madison's a great player, but Cook was running hot. He should have been in the game. So let's talk about Kirk Cousins. They clearly showed on one of the sacks that he took, which was later in the game, you can see that he had Jefferson on a corner route and should have delivered the ball. And I'm starting to wonder if a lot of the sacks is because Kirk isn't throwing the ball when he should, like that play to that should have been to Jefferson in that corner route. The announcers picked that up, and they had a nice angle that showed, that he should have thrown the ball. And then a couple of plays after that, he threw a ball to Jefferson. That was a ball that he should have thrown, that he did throw, that was caught. And Jefferson was not as open as the corner route. So Cousins needs to let it go. He needs to throw the ball. And hey, if it gets picked, it gets picked. But you can't take a sack, when you can let the ball go. And I think that's what needs to be conveyed to Kirk moving forward. Now, he had a great game. I don't have his stats in front of me, but he looked good. He threw some solid balls, but there was a couple of throws that he should have let go, and he didn't throw the ball, and he took a sack. So I'm not too happy about that performance. But we got the win. Was it because of Kirk? He helped. It was more of the running game that maybe helped his passing game. Harrison Smith, that was a tough blow to take. He did hit him in the head. In fact, it knocked that player out of the game. So it's fair that if you hit a guy in the head and you knock him out with a concussion, that you should leave the game. So I didn't like to see that, and it certainly hurt our pass defense because Ioka was lost. I mean, he was just confused. Clearly on that last touchdown pass where the guy was as wide open as he could possibly be, that was Ioka. He jumped on that route where that was covered, and he let that guy get by him on the left side in the corner of the end zone, and boom, it's a touchdown. So it hurt us to have Smith get thrown out, but I think it was the right call given what the rules are today. I know it's a bang bang play, but the rules are the rules, and you got to try to play within them, and that's the breaks. Now let's talk about Dalvin Cook, and I love that stiff arm on that second touchdown where he just kind of jammed that player, and he says, get off of me, and he walked into the end zone. That was beautiful, and he had a great game. Now I can see, or you can see, or anyone can see why we paid him. He was getting hit in the backfield, yet still, managed to get 6, 7, sometimes 8, 9 yards after contact. So that, you got to love that. He had a great game. I don't know what his stats are because I haven't seen the stats yet, but it's got to be up there, at least, over 100 yards clearly. And then the yards after the initial hit was what impressed me about Dalvin Cook. So you got to give it up for Dalvin. And then Irv Smith, we need to get him more involved. And I jumped the kicking game, and I'll go back to the kicking game. But now that I'm talking about Irv Smith, he clearly needs to get more involved. I mean, he's being a soldier, and he's saying, hey, whatever they need me to do, I'll do. But, I mean, he could be a weapon. He could be a weapon. And I can't imagine that he hasn't been open in 3 or 4 games that Cousins hasn't targeted him. So, let's get Irv Smith more involved. I think he could clearly help our cause. And then our kicking game. I mean, could we ever find a kicker who can make the kicks? It's like everyone else that steps up from another team, I kind of have this feeling they're going to make it, and they do. And then when our kicker steps up, I get this feeling like he's not going to make it, and he doesn't. What's going on? I mean, why can't we find a kicker that can just kick it in between the goalposts? That's all he does. It's not like, Zimmer looks over and says, hey, are you busy? Can you go over and kick this field goal? And whoever that person is has never done it, before, or he hasn't practiced or anything. I mean, this is what Dan Bailey does every day, is kick the ball through the uprights. You gotta, why can't he do that in a game? 50 yards is not, a long kick for a kicker. 70 is, 60 is, but not 50. They do it all the time, and his high is, I think it was like 56 or something like that. So, that's a little frustrating that we can't find a kicker that can't kick it, through the uprights when he needs to. Last game, it cost us the game. He makes that kick that he missed, and we win by 1 or 2 instead of losing by 1. So that's a little frustrating. And then, why wasn't Cook in the game late? And I'm talking about the series before the Texans took over and drove down and almost tied us, on that pass that clearly wasn't caught. But Cook wasn't in. Madison was in, and they tried to run Madison on a kind of like an off tackle, off tight end kind of a run. If Cook is in there, he gets the 4 or 5 yards that we needed for that first down. Madison doesn't have the speed. He doesn't have the vision that Cook has. So that was kind of a little. Even the announcers again, they brought it up, and I agreed that Cook should have been in the game. I mean, he was playing lights out. running red hot. And I'm about to cough here. So, I don't know. I'm a little frustrated. I think we can continue to get better. We won the game. We're not the worst team in the league right now, so that's good. But, we need to do better. And Kirk needs to do better, and I can see where he needs to do better. He needs to throw the ball. And again, if it gets picked off, it gets picked off, but let it go. Throw the ball. Don't take a sack. Excuse me. So, I'm getting a little excited. When I get a little excited, I start to cough, as you can see. So all in all, it's a good team win. It's a great ride back on the plane, I'm sure. I've never done it, but I can imagine. Too bad for Harrison Smith. He should. I mean, it's a tough take. I agreed with the call, but it's a bang play. He's playing football. 2 or 3, 4 years ago, that was a non-issue. Now it's a big issue. We've got to deal with it. But let's get back to our online game. I'm trying to find some players. I think this would be a fun way to see how much Viking knowledge you have, and then also maybe win some stuff, which is kind of cool. So, all in all, good in the hood. Getting ready for Seattle next, is it Sunday night or Monday night? Or I think it might be a Sunday night game, so that's kind of cool to have a nationally televised game. So I'm pretty pumped about that. I hope you're happy. Especially you Viking fans that, are realist, I guess you call yourselves, or, we have a good team. We have a good team. We're missing some key players. Kirk needs to throw the ball. Our defense needs to play just another level above where they play today. Ngakwe's got to get going. He's not doing much. So I thought Dantzler played well, not great, but well. Hill played okay. Ioka needs help. But all in all, it was a good team win, so I'm pretty pumped. Hope you all have a great week, and we'll see you next week. Skol, skol, skol.